Hey, Jack! Are you there? Where are you right now?
What is it, Sydney?
Look, if you're out trying to find a job, that's fine. But if you're just messing around, then you're going to be in serious trouble.
I've told you countless times already, though I don't know if you're even bothering to try to listen. I have a job. I'm not wasting my life away unemployed. Today I headed out in order to talk with a client directly. This isn't even the first time I've done this. How are you still under this misconception?
Misconception? Yeah, right. You keep trying to tell me you're someone who works from home, right? Are you sure you're not just trying to use that as an excuse to not go job hunting after having graduated a while ago?
I am also doing work at home, yes, but I only consider that a side job, nothing more.
Huh? A side job? You would have to have a main job of some kind to have a side job, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily. When it comes to the bulk of my income, I'm pretty sure Tom already explained it to you, didn't he? You understand how investment income works, right?
Oh, and here we go with this again. That's exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You're just assuming that your investments will pay enough in an attempt to justify not having a real job. The world isn't that simple. You can't expect those investments to give you everything you need.
I mean, it's not like I'm relying that much on that income anyway. That's why I'm doing this other job to begin with, so I can leave the investments alone. The longer I leave them, the more valuable they get. Also, I'm not unemployed, like I already told you.
Oh, come on! I'm not going to let you just railroad this conversation your way.
The only one railroading things is you with your abject refusal to listen to reason.
Tom is just totally different from you. I guess he just felt like he had to treat you nicely as the big brother.
Okay, so you're just ignoring everything I'm saying now?
But as a result, you just seem completely spoiled. And why should I pay attention to someone who has no clue how the world works? I guess I'm the one who has to deal with raking you over the coals so you don't end up a totally worthless person.
I think it would be a lot better if you just stayed out of it, to be honest.
Excuse me?
Look, you haven't made the slightest effort to actually understand what I'm telling you. Everything I say to you goes in one ear and out the other. In fact, I would go so far as to guess that you've listened to what Tom, Mom, and Dad have told you, and just chose to twist their words to match whatever interpretation you wanted to take from them. If you keep blundering forward without thinking everything through, you might be in for some serious trouble in the future. I'd suggest you take a page out of Tom's book and try to pump the brakes a bit before you go charging off doing something reckless that you'll regret later. I'd highly recommend that you don't try to mess with things that you don't understand, and just leave things be until he comes back home from overseas. We're already living just fine together in this duplex. There's no need to rock the boat unnecessarily.
Hey! What are you trying to say? Do you really think you can talk like you have some level of influence around here? Are you forgetting who's the one who's even being kind enough to let a jobless guy like you stick around here? As your brother's wife, I am merely tolerating your presence as you continue to just sit here doing nothing.
So, about that.
What?
That last statement of yours just proved that you don't understand a thing about our situation here.
Excuse me?
If I remember correctly, you're the one who used Tom's overseas business posting as an excuse to start living in my half of the house, right? And this is despite the fact that you already were doing just fine in your half. This is a duplex. They're separate for a reason.
Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. I used his trip as a reason to live here? What are you trying to say?
All I said was the truth. Nothing more. But for you to look down on me like I'm some leech and just decide for yourself that I have no job? I don't understand how you can even believe this nonsense you're spouting. So please, just drop the issue at least until Tom returns home.
What's with your tone? I don't like the arrogance I'm sensing in it. Well, whatever. Regardless of what's going on, Tom's return home will be the most ideal timing for us to finally decide who's right and wrong. It's, 3 months until he's back home? Once he gets back, we'll see for sure who's in the wrong here. Until then, I suggest you get ready to be kicked out of the house, okay?
Yeah, right. Hey, Sydney. I just took a look at my room and... What's going on? The room is completely empty. My shelves, bed, desk, clothes, chair. Everything is gone. The only thing left in the room is a small note in the middle of the floor that you wrote.
Ah, so you finally came home, huh? Honestly, for someone as lowly as you to go on a trip to Los Angeles and stay for 3 nights? Now that the time for us to settle our dispute is finally getting closer, you think it's just okay to just go do as you please?
What do you mean, settle our dispute?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. You said it yourself, remember? You said we'll settle things once Tom comes home from overseas.
Excuse me?
My parents-in-law also just happened to be out at a party with some of the neighbors, so they're not here either. So today was my chance. I thought that if I was going to make a move to bring this all to an end, I had to do it now.
Okay. Seriously now. I didn't say a thing about settling things. All I asked was for you to leave things be until he got back.
What are you talking about? That's the same thing. The timing was perfect for me to finally correct your mistaken understanding of how the world works, and in the clearest way possible.
I don't even know how I can approach that convoluted mess of logic. Regardless, Tom comes home from overseas tomorrow, doesn't he? So, why did you feel like you had to start doing things today? Again, I asked you to hold off until he comes back. Not until a day before he comes back. Not until a few hours before he arrives. I asked you specifically to wait until he returns.
Today, tomorrow, what difference does one day make? I mean, no matter how you look at it, all you're waiting for is to be kicked out of the house in the end anyway.
And I've told you that that's only your complete misunderstanding of the situation. I have no clue why you just can't seem to understand what's going on.
What's this now? What am I supposedly misunderstanding?
For the past 3 months, I have tried to break down everything so I could explain it to you in as many different ways as possible. But you just outright refused to listen, and instead did little more than hysterically throw verbal abuse at me day in and day out.
Well, of course I didn't listen to you. What reason would I have to believe some naive simpleton who doesn't understand how society works?
It's astonishing how accurately that describes you.
Anyway, an unemployed layabout like you is nothing but a nuisance. So, while you may have somehow managed to get a car at some point recently, if you don't hurry up and get out of this house, I won't just destroy your things. I'll also smash up that car.
Wow, it's a good thing I brought my work laptop with me on this trip. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to meet my deadline and my clients would lose their trust in me.
Right. All that work you've been doing entirely inside your own head, right? I'm telling you, that sort of stuff is bad for your head. So you need to leave the house before you start causing trouble around here with your insanity. This is my personal style of kindness through strictness. And, well, since there isn't a single thing of yours left in this house, there isn't actually any reason for you to be here anymore, is there?
Right. So it's best if I leave then?
Exactly! That's precisely what you should do.
Okay then. I'm not responsible for anything that comes of this, got it?
Sure. Enjoy all those sour grapes somewhere else. I want you out of here before the end of the day. Say, Jack? Could I talk to you for a moment?
What is it?
Look, here's the thing.
Tom just came home, didn't he?
Oh, well, yeah. I wanted to talk to you about that, actually.
When you told him about how you kicked me out of the house, what did he say to you?
The thing is, he, sorta, got totally pissed off, then shouted at me at the top of his lungs that you're the one who owns this house. He also went off at me about how I was taking your part of the house when I should have been living in the one he and I already had. And that your half was meant for you and whomever you might end up getting together with.
Yep, that's about what I expected from him.
So, what was he talking about? What's going on? This house. Tom built it, didn't he? As the older brother, isn't it his? How did his younger brother, who can't even hold a job, come to be living here? And what is he talking about? Whomever you're going to be with.
Well, let's start with the obvious one. That house is in my name. I'm the one who owns it.
What? Are you kidding me?
As for everything else, ask Tom. If I try to tell you anything, you're just going to twist what I'm saying to suit whatever you want. There's no point in saying any more about this myself, after all, is there?
Say, Jack? Could I talk to you for a moment?
What is it?
Look, here's the thing.
Tom just came home, didn't he?
Oh, well, yeah. I wanted to talk to you about that, actually.
When you told him about how you kicked me out of the house, what did he say to you?
The thing is, he, sorta, got totally pissed off, then shouted at me at the top of his lungs that you're the one who owns this house. He also went off at me about how I was taking your part of the house when I should have been living in the one he and I already had. And that your half was meant for you and whomever you might end up getting together with.
Yep, that's about what I expected from him.
So, what was he talking about? What's going on? This house. Tom built it, didn't he? As the older brother, isn't it his? How did his younger brother, who can't even hold a job, come to be living here? And what is he talking about? Whomever you're going to be with.
Well, let's start with the obvious one. That house is in my name. I'm the one who owns it.
What? Are you kidding me?
As for everything else, ask Tom. If I try to tell you anything, you're just going to twist what I'm saying to suit whatever you want. There's no point in saying any more about this myself, after all, is there?
Hey, Jack! You little... What did you say to Tom?
Huh? What, did Tom do something?
He said he was going to file for divorce!
Oh, he did now, did he?
Why? Why would he do this? All I did was misunderstand some things a little. That's all. Was it really so bad as to want a divorce for it?
Well, to be perfectly honest, yes. I'm not at all surprised he wants a divorce.
What? Why?
Are you really asking that? Did you already forget what you did to me?
What are you talking about?
You threw away literally everything I had in my room.
Wait, that was... Well, I admit that I was in the wrong on that one. But all of your data for your work was still fine, wasn't it? So what's the problem?
You really don't think much about what you're doing, do you? Even if we discount the furniture that you threw out that cost a lot to replace. Among the things you threw out were mementos of my late grandparents and of my late mother.
There were?
There were also antiques that my father had given me when I graduated high school, including a special fountain pen that I used every day and kept in pristine condition. And then there's the present I got from my girlfriend for my birthday, the suit I got from Tom as a graduation gift, my photo album from when I was a kid, my own personal mementos from when I was growing up. All of it. You threw away all of it because you just wanted to kick me out of my own house, a fact you refused to listen to me explain. Because of your childish inability to listen to a truth that didn't agree with you, you threw everything away I ever had to remember my family or my childhood by.
I don't know what I can even say to that.
That's why I asked Tom. It doesn't matter if I received all the money in the world as compensation. All of the things that were thrown out will never come back. So, I asked my brother to cut off the root cause of this whole problem. I asked him to divorce you.
What?
Of course, I knew that he had no obligation to agree to my request. That all depended on how he felt about everything. But it seems that he chose to do what I asked of him this time, doesn't it?
Why? Why would you ask him to do something like that?
Because your very existence causes me emotional trauma.
Huh?
I can't comprehend how a monster like you can even exist. To think that you could be so heartless as to happily throw out every single thing that had sentimental value to someone else. And all because you didn't even have the basic decency to actually listen to what someone else had to say. Who knows what you could do to Tom in the future if you treat his brother like this? I remember how you threatened to destroy my car. What if one day you got angry at him and decided to destroy his?
What are you saying? Tom is my husband. Why would I ever do something like that?
Well, when you suddenly decide to throw out someone's things with zero regard for how much value they hold, I'm pretty sure we can't really consider any possibility out of the question with you.
But he's my husband! It's different! Why is he so quick to take your side?
Tom and I may not be connected by blood, but we still get along really well. Perhaps more than many actual brothers.
Okay, so the two of you have a good relationship. But I have a good relationship with him too. Why would he have married me otherwise?
Well, he understood quite well the amount of pain and sadness felt at seeing all of my memories callously thrown away. As you might expect, that made him unfathomably angry. I could almost feel his heart burning with anger. It sounds like that very day he decided he was going to divorce you.
Couldn't you at least wait a little bit?
No. After what you've done, I'm surprised you think you can even ask for anything at all at this point. I warned you 3 months ago. I told you to hold off on acting recklessly, but just like always, you didn't listen to me. You reap what you sow. Anyway, I've told you everything I need to now. Can you just hurry up and get divorced and get out of this house? Forever.
What? No, wait, please.
Oh, and I'm going to block you, in the hope that you never taint my life with your presence ever again. And so, Tom and Sydney divorced, and Sydney left to go live out in the country somewhere. Though, on Tom's recommendation, I decided to file a lawsuit against Sydney, seeking damages for her destruction of my precious belongings. The total amount came to about $50,000. Though, in a rather unsurprising development, Sydney was someone who was completely irresponsible with her money and had no savings to speak of. Apparently, one of her main aims when marrying Tom was to get her hands on his money. Unable to pay a cent of the damages and grumbling about being ripped off, Sydney found herself at the mercy of her now furious parents. They paid the damages and forced Sydney to pay them back the money through her own work. Now she's working day and night to pay off her colossal debt. As for me, after this sort of traumatic event happened in this house, I decided to sell it. I couldn't bear to live in it any longer. Now I'm looking into renovating another house in the next town over, and I've got my parents, Tom, and my soon-to-be wife in on the planning. Now we're happily talking about this exciting new project and where it will take our lives next.